Yes, greetings. Welcome to Tranquility Roots and Culture Wellness Center. I have my host here with me, Marie Gums, and I'm Elliot Lawrence. Wow, we
Better
having
known
such
as
as
Empress Isis.
an Ambassador Junior Lion, who I almost forgot. Well, we're having quite of an adventure here with food, and with basic knowledge, we're here to present you so many different packages. Now, what we have here today on our segment, we have products that you can bake with, organic grains and the original grains that are non-hybrid. Right here, I would like to present to my people, my audience, what we have right here. We have kamut grains, which can be also consumed as a rice. It's the organic grain that resembles wheat, but it's not wheat. It's kamut. It's one of the most ancient grains known to man, like one of the first mother grains that you could ever think about.
We call it the great-grandfather grain.
So you know what that means. It's very ancient.
The great-grandfather grain.
Yeah. We also have here, what do we have here?
Amaranth.
We have amaranth. And for those who don't know amaranth is also the seed of the callaloo. And the Jamaicans know what I'm talking about when we say callaloo, right? We love the callaloo and dumpling done. Well, alright, we have amaranth seed, which is the callaloo, which is a very sacred food. It also means the food of the gods. This is it right here. It's one of the original grains of Africa. You can find it also over here in the West Coast. And I would like to present to you the wild rice from Kemet, which is known as Egypt. This is one of the very first rice ever known to man that is planted by the River Nile and also by the Mississippi River over here in America. This is very ionizing, it's very, very, very good. It's a seed, you can plant it. It comes in its shell, it's the original black rice, and it's non-hybrid. None of these grains are hybrid.
And talking about that, they say it's wild rice. Now we have to look for the wild rice because now they're hybridizing wild rice.
Yeah.
So you have to look for the rice what is grown in Mississippi and it's wild. You have to look for the wild rice and it's not cultivated.
Right. We also have with us here on our presentation, we have quinoa grain. Now quinoa is my favorite grain. This is one of my favorite grains. I can eat this every day. You have to cook quinoa for me every day, right? Quinoa grain, wow. There's a history behind quinoa. I mean, who plants this?
The Incas.
The Incas. Wow. So we're going into some ancient science and history right here. Now, quinoa, it's pronounced quinoa, but it is written Quinoa. Quinoa. Some of us will call it quinoa, but it's pronounced quinoa. Wow. It's very good grain.
You cook it just like rice.
Yes.
If you want to cook it, just like rice. 2 cups of water to 1 cup of quinoa.
Right. Would you like to give them an explanation how you cook these grains as well too? It would be nice if they get an insight of how we do the wild rice, how we do the amaranth, and how we do the amaranth.
The wild rice, you part your rice first, and it requires a little bit more water. And all the grains, you can have them raw. You have to soak them, and that's a different process. I think quinoa is like 2 days soaking, wild rice is like 9 days. But you'll have to go more into the research on the raw foods. There's books about them, and you can do your research on wild foods.
And I would like to also remind you about drsebi.com. He's our mentor, inspiration for doing what we're doing, what we're trying to share with you. And there's a whole lot more others out there that knows in depth of what is going on, but we're just giving you the basic information right now. What I have here, I have rye flour here on the right side of the bowl here, and what I have on the left side here, which is onto my right here, is the spelt grain, spelt flour, which is the original grains that we use to bake this bread right here. We have the spelt and rye bread right here with a little touch of fennel seeds in it. And if you notice, we don't have any whole wheat or any wheat. Wheat is a hybrid. Wheat is not the original organic food. Wheat is a hybrid. It was genetically modified. So we don't use wheat in our life. So what we're presenting you is just a few of the original grains that you can find. Now you have to be very diligent when you're looking for these grains because they are now starting to hybridize these foods. So we have to be very cautious, be very careful when we're looking for our foods. Make sure that they are not GMO and they're not modified in labs. So here we go as a good start. So now what we're going to be demonstrating today is a raw pizza. Okay, we're not going to be using any animal products in it. It's strictly organic and basic herbs that we are going to be using for the pizza are right here on the plate. And also we have the bread that I just introduced to you. What else do you have you would like to present to the people that's going to be for the pizza?
Well, actually, I would like you to make the dough first, and
Sure.
then I'll show them the rest of the stuff.
Okay, sure. So I'm going to get started with that. Now here I go. I just used, I can say, about 3/4 of a cup of each of the rye and the spelt. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add, I'm going to just mix it in together. So I'm going to need a spoon. Okay, here we are. So here we are. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just mix it together. This is just a simple demonstration just to make sure that you see. Now you can see the different textures of flour blending in together here as I stir it around. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a touch of sea salt. Again, here we go with the basic minerals. There we go. And then instead of butter or animal fat, I'm going to use cold pressed virgin olive oil as my to mix in my flour.
And if you don't have the oil, you don't have to use the oil, because when I do it, I don't use oil.
I use about 3 covers here. There I go. I like to use the oil. This has a nice substitute. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stir. I'm just going to mix it in. Just like this. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to experience something great today. So who say you can't have pizza? We're going to have pizza. Are we going to be loving it? It's going to be tasting very nice. So here we go with a little mixture here. There we go. Now I'm not adding any yeast to this. Yeast can cause yeast infection. So for those who are vegans and highly cautious of what they eat, you don't have to use yeast. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little bit of water into this mixture right here. Then I'm going to start kneading. It's very simple. Now I got to get my hands in there now. Now this is the fun part. I love doing this. You want to make sure you don't put too much water. Depends on how much flour you're going to be using for the mixture, for the dough. I'm going to just pour this out over the counter so you can see what I'm doing. This out of the way. Now here we are. And for those who are familiar with sun-baked food, you can also bake these grains in the sun. You know, make sure that the sun is at its highest point. Wow, there's so much to learn when you're doing raw foods, you know, so much to share. People can learn from all walks of life how to live right, how to live healthy, nutritious. It's also good for the children, you know. Save you a whole lot of money from Dr. Bills, trust me. Save you a whole lot of money from Dr. Bills. You know. So there we go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just damp my hand a little. And I'm just going to gather this together. Just to make sure that I got most of my dough here. Can't let nothing go to waste. So we got to share this knowledge with our people. I'm going to damp my hands again while I do this little dough.
For more information, look up Dr. Sebi.
So there we go. There's so much knowledge we have to share with you. But wow, if I got to start speaking, wow, I'm going to never stop. So there we go. You can see my dough is ready here. I'm going to just roll it out. There we go. Now this is the dough that prepared this bread. Okay, this is yeast free, baking powder free, for those who do not want to add anything. And out of this is what I have. My raw flour here that I'm going to be putting in the oven right now to bake for you. And then when I'm done with baking this little dough right here, we're going to get to the next segment of the raw food pizza. So stay tuned with us, don't go anywhere, you're going to love it.